In 1980, when silver reached $50 per ounce, there was no derivatives bubble. There was no concern of fiat dollars flooding the world. There was no multi-trillion-dollar bailouts of Wall Street banks. And most importantly, there was no proven 100-to-1 paper manipulation of gold and silver markets.
Precious metals are financial assets, and like currencies and T-bills and T-bonds, they trade in the multiples of 100 times the underlying physical. They trade in the multiples of 100 times the underlying physical.
Silver is such an undervalued bargain, it defies belief, until you come to understand that the banks have suppressed the price with paper shorts and paper silver. Then, it makes perfect sense. At this very moment, we are living through dramatic historical events. Both gold and silver are now breaking the bonds of the manipulation that has long suppressed them. And silver, trading in lockstep with gold, is returning to its 5,000-year history as a monetary metal. The gains investors have made to date have been stunning. But as the bankers are forced to cover their short positions and the true value of these precious metals is once again rediscovered, the pricing moves for gold and silver that lie in the years ahead will be talked about for generations.
All right, that's the Silver Perspective by SGT Bull 07 on YouTube. Excellent videos on that channel. Max Keiser's coming up in about 3 minutes because silver has risen again. And I've had major newspapers, magazines, TV networks calling me saying, so you and Max Keiser did this. And I certainly don't deserve much of the credit. My audience does to a certain extent. Keiser jumped on a bandwagon already going by grassroots people. He pointed that out. He did supercharge it. But I'm not even sure we're having the overall or even a minority effect on silver going up. It's the dollar devaluation. It's the Chinese upping their holdings of gold 5-fold, according to the Financial Times, doubling their acceleration of purchasing silver. You know, we hear about euro down, dollar up. Now today, euro up, dollar down. And it's all the same big global banks. They just run one up, one run down. But overall, the currencies are being devalued and commodities are going up. I mean, it's a very simple equation. Here's Market Watch. U.S. dollar slips versus euro as uncertainties ease. And then it'll be the U.S. that goes down. Then it'll be the euro that goes down. Then they'll both go back up a little and then down even more. They're going down incrementally, gold and silver going up incrementally. Look at the long-term 10-year, 5-year, 1-year graphs, not the weekly graphs. Gold's down a few bucks today. Silver, last time I checked, is still up to near record highs, over 30 bucks. But we'll get the latest from Ted Anderson here briefly. COMEX gold is higher, hits new record high on solid investor demand. So that's ongoing today where the futures are up, but the gold a few hours ago was down. I got to talk to Ted in a minute. So we've got some of that news here. Also, oil surges above $90 a barrel, and they're talking about over $3 an average soon in the country. So that inflation is starting to kick back in. And notice, oils or gas is $1.50 a gallon 5, 6, 7 years ago. It goes up to $3. You get angry. Goes down to $2. You feel like you're getting a good deal. Goes to $3.50. Goes back to $2.50. That's psychological warfare. Then it goes to $5, and it goes down to $3. Then it goes to $6, and it goes down to $5. And you're incrementally accepting the inflation. Let's briefly go to Ted Anderson and then to Max Keiser. Ted, give us the latest on gold and silver prices right now and what you're watching in the market.
Well, right now, silver had gone up just incredibly today, Alex. I mean, $30.73 at the peak.
Wow.
I mean, when I seen silver hit 30.10, I was like, whoa, it just like broke through 30 like nobody's business. Now we're almost at $31 an ounce. Gold hit a high today too of $1,432.50. A little bit of profit taking later on in the day, but the markets aren't closed yet. But if you want to be getting in on silver or gold, man, I tell you, Alex, at $97 for 3-year videos and 3 silver dollars, that isn't going to last very long. Man, I cannot hold it at that price. That price is got to go up over $100 for that same deal. And I'm holding it because I want people to get your videos. And what an attractive buy now. 3 silver dollars like that. I mean, you just can't, I don't think you can beat that anywhere. Not at $97. And this is delivered too with your videos. I mean, the other thing that I'm holding back in price, which is also going to increase, and it's just a matter of time. I mean, I have to go out and buy the darn stuff. Are those Walking Liberty halves at $12.84? I mean, that is such a great buy. And the other thing that I added to the mix.
So we're talking about less than $26 for an ounce of silver when silver is at over 30. So folks cannot find that anywhere else at that price.
Yeah, right now at this particular time, that Walking Liberty is going to increase in price. The other thing,
so is this the last day because you've been holding it over?
Well, you know, Alex, I want people to get silver, honestly. I mean, that's why I have that video price down too. We also have the what I call the survival pack, which is 1,000 dimes. I mean, a dime is a small fraction of silver, and you can use that to spend anywhere you need to.
Yeah, these are the pre-what, 66 dimes?
No, pre-1964.
Yeah.
And that is also just another reason, another buy that is.
And how much can you cash one of those in for?
Well, the dimes are worth about 21 cents a piece. So, I mean, that gives you an idea of what the value is there. I mean, it's just a great way to be getting involved in the silver market, and you can find them right on your website.
All right, we're almost out of time. I got to go to Max Keiser, Ted, the owner of Genesis and Midas Resources. The best deals out there you're going to find. His regular deals are great, but these radio specials, I mean, just do the math. These are absolutely incredible deals, and he's got it there on hand. Almost everybody else has run out weeks ago or has huge premiums. Ted's got great deals on gold and silver. Just ask them for the list of radio specials in gold and silver. 800-686-2237. 800-686-2237. Give Midas Resources a call today. 800-686-2237. Ted Anderson, thank you so much for popping in with us.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me up, Alex.
You bet. Amazing. I wanted to briefly today bring up Max Keiser because Max has really been promoting the fact, of course, the inventor of the Hollywood Stock Exchange system and journalist with BBC and RT, you name it, MaxKeiser.com. Obviously, for those that don't know, I just want to let you in on the fact he's been flogging the idea of buy silver, crash J.P. Morgan. I know he's a big supporter of the Gold Antitrust Committee. But GATA's treasurer put out a little article a few days ago saying, look, what Max is doing is positive. It'll show that they're manipulating the silver market down. It'll probably drive it up, but that, J.P. Morgan can cover this. So I wanted to get your response to that article and see if you disagree with them.
Yeah, hi, Alex. Cover it with what? What are they going to cover that with?
Well, most of the market, they say, is covered in cash.
Yeah. So if they increase the cash supply to cover their liabilities, what happens to the value of the cash?
Yeah, but we're talking about trillions of cash being pumped out a month, so $3.5 billion pumped out. I mean, I'm not poo-pooing what you're saying. I'm just throwing it out there that overall it's positive.
No, I'm talking about $3.5 billion. Listen, the over-the-counter silver market is published by the Bank of International Settlements is $200 billion is dedicated over-the-counter short silver contracts. J.P. Morgan is half of that. That's $100 billion. That's 3.3 billion ounces of silver they are short. Every dollar silver goes up.
Okay, but just last week that I misunderstood. What's the $3.5 billion then?
What's that?
What's the 3.3 or 3.5 billion?
Every dollar silver goes up. The J.P. Morgan sit with 3.3 billion on their balance sheet. Every dollar for silver. Silver goes up $10. That's $33 billion. To J.P. Morgan. Their whole market cap's $150 billion.
Okay, so you're saying, and I guess that would mean that GATA article is wrong because they're only looking at the $3 billion or so. Please continue.
Well, yeah, I talked with Chris Powell of GATA about this, and a couple of other people have made a comment that J.P. Morgan will be bailed out. They're bailed out with what? U.S. dollars. If you keep bailing it, what's happening to the dollars becoming diluted? Why are people buying gold and silver? Because the U.S. keeps bailing out banks.
Well, I mean, just to be clear, Max, I had you on to promote this, and I think you're a great guy. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just injecting debate into this. Please continue.
No, I'm just pointing out the obvious. If you cover your short with paper money, the value of that money is debased even more.
Well, it certainly exposes that they're suppressing the price of silver.
Yeah, well, why is the price going up? Because everybody around the world is buying gold and silver, in particular silver. Since I was on your show when we started this Google bomb, 3.5 weeks ago, it's up 11%. That's an annualized return of over 100%. It was up earlier today 13% from when I was on your show. So this idea that you've got GATA, Gold Antitrust Action Committee, simultaneously working to expose the shorts in the silver market, and then kind of hedging themselves a bit, saying that, well, we are trying to, J.P. Morgan and HSBC are now, they're subject of an investigation for manipulating the market as part of a lot of the work from GATA and Ted Butler and all the work that's been done. And now there's an open investigation for manipulating the silver market. And so he, I think, is fearful of a collapsed banking system. He's expressed to me privately that he's afraid that if this thing takes off, that banks around the world will collapse. He's fearful of that. And my point is... Well,
the banks are collapsing our society, so you know what? They want to take me down, I'll take them down with me.
Well, that's my point. We're going to go down anyway. So, Chris Powell at GATA is trying to have his cake and eat it, too. He wants to expose the fraudsters, but he doesn't want too much damage to the banking system. My point is that we've got to take down these banking cartel because they are holding us hostage.
Yeah, we've got to get on the offense, and you know what? Justice be done, may the heavens fall.
And people are buying this thing all over the world. As you see, this thing's gone viral. We launched it on your show with the Google bomb on the 11th of November. The silver is climbing. I'll do a press release with you. The company hasn't released this yet. There's a company in the Pacific Northwest that's going to market. They put an initial order in for 10,000 pure silver coins to crash J.P. Morgan buy silver, that they'll be available. Now, my involvement is zero. I have no consideration at all with the company. I said you have free use of my name and my image. You have free use. If you feel that this is going to help the cause, then so be it. So they're going to launch a global silver coin. It's going to be...
Well, you should just tell all the silver coin stampers to go with buy silver, crash J.P. Morgan.
I have. I've released my name and image for anyone to go forward with a campaign like this. I just got an email from a group in Poland that's now using this campaign as part of their thing. And I said, look, we've all got to be in this together, but I have no tie to these things at all economically.
Wow, if this is successful, which it looks like it's starting to be, nothing succeeds like success. It's pretty scary that this radio show would be the Cape Canaveral launch pad to fire Max Keiser into the heart of the New World Order.
Right, and to crush J.P. Morgan. And I want to bring up an interesting point. Actually, Stacy, who's got really good contacts in London, where Julian Assange is currently located, she was talking to her contacts over there. She's very close with the people over at the Frontline Club, which is the premier journalist club in London, and they know Julian very well, and they know what's going on. She has great contacts. And she was pointing out to me something very, very interesting. Basically, the banks lynched Julian Assange when they cut off his Visa card, his MasterCard, his PayPal account. We've seen here the first example of an electronic banking lynching. They lynched him. They pushed him completely.
No, it shows the global control grid. Please continue.
Yeah, that's exactly what it does show. That any of these credit card companies, they don't have to go through the rule of law or the legal system at all. They just take you off the grid. MasterCard, Visa, PayPal, they simply said, you're no longer on the grid. And this is why today, and this is what the talk in London is today. Today we're seeing relative strength in the dollar because today, for the paper cartel, for the plastic pushers, the Visa, the MasterCard, the debt pushers, this was a victory today to put Julian Assange in front of the magistrate.
And he's going to jail because a feminist didn't like the fact that he had sex with her afterwards because she was jilted. I mean, so now in Europe, you go to jail if a woman has consensual sex with you and she's a feminist because they consider all sex rape. Boy, I tell you, these are liberals. Keep me away from them. Max Keiser, stay there.
They helped to create a new world order.
We are part of